Okay, my name is Darren Williams. I would like to make the disclaimer that this video is done for school and class purposes only. I will allow my volunteer to introduce herself.
Hello, my name is Betsy Willis. I am 54 years old.
All right, I'm just going to ask you a series of interview questions. If at any point you feel as if these questions are a little bit hard to answer or you don't feel comfortable answering certain questions or going into specific details, by all means tell me and I will completely respect that. Number one, what is your favorite childhood memory?
Wow, my favorite childhood memory is my parents taking us home, took our bath, put on our night clothes, and we went to the drive-in movies. But before we went, my mom cooked. She fixed fish, potato salad,
Oh,
packed
wow.
plates, and we had blankets and towels, and we had dinner in the car, and it was on Monkhouse Drive at the time, close to the airport. So that was one of my favorite childhood memories.
What specifically about that experience kind of stands out and makes that kind of like a warm, feel good feeling you have?
Because my parents made a big deal of it. It was like, we're going to go and we're going to have a night out as a family. But we first need you all to take your bath and put on your night clothes. And that was way out of the ordinary. But when we did, we could see the night sky, to see that big screen from the car, and you don't really appreciate things until you're older, because I really wanted to go to the concession. They had hot dogs and hamburgers and whatever, but the best food was actually in the car.
Yeah, sounds
And the
like
best
it.
experience was in the car. We didn't get to go, and I can say I pouted for a while, but soon thereafter, we were watching a movie, eating fish, eating potato salad, and next thing I knew, I woke up in my bed. So.
Oh, that's so sweet. This is such a good memory. So warm. Okay. My second question to you is, how is technology different when you were growing up compared to today?
What technology? Actually, we had just the standard. We had TVs, we had the house phone, we had the pay phone. When I started playing basketball in middle school, my parents made sure I left the house with a quarter. Just in case anything happens, I could call home.
How would you call home?
Payphone.
Payphone. Those are the days. Not sure if any of those even still exist.
Not at all.
My next question to you is, what things have you accomplished that are important to you? Or what is your biggest accomplishment to date?
I wouldn't say accomplishment the way other people would think. I think the biggest thing in my life is my relationship with God.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it dictates everything else that I do. How I move throughout my day, drive from place to place, interact with people, the way I think about things, and definitely understand the difference between a glass half full and half empty. It's always half full, because God's going to always fill it right on up.
I love that. It's a great perspective. So going back and referencing the fact that the way you see accomplishment isn't necessarily what the average person would see as accomplishment, I feel like what you're saying is more people see accomplishment as obtaining something more materialistic, whereas yours is more spiritually based because
Yeah.
it kind of sets the table for those things into your life.
Right.
So, with that being said, what goals do you hope to accomplish within the next 5 to 10 years?
Now, actually, I'm working on my master's. I have 4 classes left, and ironically, the 4 classes that I have left, I've taken already. I took them at Louisiana Tech, um, and and those are the specialty classes for reading specialists. LSUS was going to take them, took two, and I was to petition to get the other two added on. But something went wrong, and I'm not sure what went wrong, but those are my last 4 classes I have to take. And then afterwards, I actually plan on getting my doctorate in Christian counseling.
Oh, how convenient. May have to send you to my university.
Okay.
My next question to you. What do you do for work, and are you satisfied with that line of work and its impact on your life?
I am a teacher. I love teaching. This is my 28th year.
Oh, wow.
And a lot of people ask me, have I gone into drop or what have you? And I just turned 54 on the 12th of November. So I still have 1 more year to have the age, but I don't have a desire to retire. I love teaching. I love the impact that I make on the kids' lives, and I love the impact they make on mine, actually. I learn just as much from them as they do from me. And in some capacity, I believe I'll always be teaching.
Just like I believe I'm a lifelong learner, a lifelong teacher.
Exactly.
My next question is, have you ever been married? And if so, could you describe how that relationship has affected your adult development?
I am married. My husband is my best friend from teenage years. Mm-hmm. And I can say when a person is looking for someone to share their lives with, the belief system has to be in place, because how can two stand unless they agree? And otherwise, a house divided against itself won't stand. So with that, my husband and I mean, he's a believer, I'm a believer, and again, we let that dictate our lives. So even with the way I interact with him, the students, first and foremost, I interact with people as God's creation. Mm-hmm. And anything that I were to do that is not in good behavior, mm-hmm. or to hurt them, I'm directly hurting God. Mm-hmm. So that matters to me. So being with my husband, having that spiritual connection, mm-hmm. was the number one thing that we sought.
That's so good. So one thing is I can see that homogamy within religious homogamy is definitely important to you, which is completely understandable. I believe that's more so newer cultures that are, or more modern society that's a little bit more heterogamous when it comes to belief systems. But I can completely understand why you feel that way and how it's affected you. And I love how it's affected you and how you like deal with everything with that first, and because you put that foremost, then everything else kind of just falls into place.
It does.
All right, my next question to you is, how has having children changed you in your life?
Oh, wow. Coming up, my mother would always say, I want 10 children out of you.
Whoa, it's a lot.
And I have a brother and a sister. With that being said, I didn't think I was going to have any. Didn't desire it, didn't want to be married. Somewhat strong-willed, mm-hmm. but changed my life completely. To know that you are responsible for another living person completely, their well-being, the way they think, their outcome,
Mm-hmm.
but with the mindset that you raise them up, you teach them well, but ultimately it's their choice,
Mm-hmm.
the direction they go. But it's completely changed my life. Even now, I mean, with our 10 kids out of the house, I can say even Thanksgiving was the first time that we've had them all
Mm-hmm.
close to all in one place, and we have 21 grandchildren.
Oh, wow.
So with that, we told them once they leave, that's it, and they had to leave after graduation, and that's because they couldn't grow being under us.
Mm-hmm.
But we also spread our wings. So
Mm-hmm.
this is our first Thanksgiving in 3 years being home.
Oh,
Because
wow.
we're normally in North Carolina. Last Christmas we went to Myrtle Beach.
Sounds
So
nice.
it was. It's a new thing. And I said these things that when you leave, you're not going to be able to find us. Call us if you want
Mm-hmm.
to hang out or whatever. But I didn't really realize what I was speaking to in existence. But it's wonderful. I mean, and even so, we sort of cultivated them to go out and see the world, go
Mm-hmm.
out beyond what you know. And things have turned out well because of it. So, yes, having children, completely changed.
Yeah, it's changed everything.
It did, because I had to stop. Those selfish ways have to stop.
Mm-hmm.
You become more protective. And I find myself mothering my children in the sense that I will not let them pick on one another, be down on one another or themselves. I will protect them, but I'm going to push them to their limits
Mm-hmm.
and beyond.
I love that. My next question for you, which I feel like I already know the answer to, but I want to see if you feel it. Do you feel that you contribute to society in a positive way?
That's the purpose of teaching. We are cultivating those who are going to be making decisions down the line for this world. Absolutely.
I feel like a lot of people don't realize that a lot of people do not realize that we're literally, you are raising up the future the people that make all the decisions that you have to deal with.
Exactly.
Okay. My next question for you is, if you could give one piece of advice to younger adults to prepare them for middle adulthood, what would it be? If you just had to pick one, because I know you're
God
full
first.
of God first.
God first. In all your ways, acknowledge me and I will direct your path. That's the word. And if you seek God, acknowledge Him, and use the Bible as what it's meant to be, the basic instructions before leaving earth, then yeah, you God first.
That's perfect. I could take that. Let me see. My next question to you is, how do you want to be remembered when you're gone?
I'm not going anywhere. I'm leaving here when Gabriel put one foot on land and one foot in the water. But I guess that's a loaded question, but let me say, as God's child, I want to be remembered as a person that definitely would treat you like you would want to be treated, like I would want to be treated. That's really important to me.
Mm-hmm. A lot of that is lost these days, so.
Definitely.
All right. My next question for you. How has your faith helped develop the adult you are today? And I think
My faith is the only thing that's developed me into the adult that I am.
Could you give us a little bit more detail or about any specifics? Is there any like specific thing that stood out to you in your faith walk, maybe, or something that you discovered that was kind of like sparked it and kind of like made sense? Like that was kind of like the catalyst to.
Standing in the middle of a club, and the person that I was with in the dark, someone walked up, just shot in the crowd. They were shooting at that person. They did hit that person. But I was like that far from that person.
Oh my God.
And it wasn't a scary thing. I knew the first time I went to a club, I felt so uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
But I kept going till I got.
Mm-hmm.
I came into my comfort
Mm-hmm.
level. And that was just a wake-up call. It's amazing how events can change your life, but I wasn't fearful or anything like that. I knew at that moment that that's not where I should be.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even going to the club, I'd be out of the club halfway through the last song. And when the last song was finished, I've already driven 4 miles, and I'm sitting on the couch, and people call me, "Where are you?" At home. I mean, because it wasn't that I just wanted to go hang out with people. I wanted to dance. That's all. And there weren't any avenues for us at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know that my mother had access to that type of thing until maybe 12 years ago when she came to what was called Dancing with the Stars of Shreveport.
Mm-hmm.
And my kids have been in dance for years, and I was dancing in it, and I invited my mother. And afterwards she said, "Baby, why you never told me you wanted to dance?" And my answer to her was, "I guess you've forgotten all those nights that you whooped me on a Saturday night because I was up watching Soul Train." And what I was doing was, while y'all were back there, I was dancing. But when I would hear the door, I would sit down. So she was like, "Oh my God." So we all have those epiphanies.
Yeah.
But it's okay.
Okay. My last question for you is, how do you feel about the church's ability and efforts to reach middle adults? So I guess I'm asking individuals that aren't necessarily in the church at your age or people in your age group in middle adulthood. How do you feel about the general church's ability to reach them or their efforts to reach them?
So let me sort of kind of bring that question back in, because we're the church. That's a building. So the people that house God's Spirit, we're the church. So it's really how you draw people would be how you treat people. So when you're interacting, you don't have to say, I don't have to go around and say, I love the Lord, He heard me. I don't have to do that. Your actions speak louder than words. And it's the action of people that either draw or drive away. And that's been, I think, the problem over the years. People are so bogged down with traditions. And the Bible says, "Judge not lest you be judged," but you're judging. You can't come in here, women can't wear pants, they shouldn't wear makeup, da-da-da. You're judging. Maybe you don't like it, or maybe you are not admitting to what you're liking, and you're just condemning it in front of everyone, but secretly you're tipping out doing other things. It's a catch-22. So how young adults can be drawn in is you love them in. You teach them how to love themselves, love God, how to see God within themselves. And then they understand that that lifestyle change is not a punishment, but it's actually spreading your wings because you're more powerful. You have more opportunities when you accept Christ in your heart. You're the church.
I love that answer. Love it. Thank you so much for volunteering for this interview, and that will be our conclusion.
You're welcome.